Let us unite our hearts in prayer. Lord, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable unto you this day, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Amen. Isn't that a lovely note to end the gospel lesson on? Huh? The gnashing of teeth in the outer darkness. Well, speaking of gnashing of teeth in outer darkness, the midterm elections are not quite 2 weeks past. There was a lot of gnashing of teeth after that. The House of Representatives is even stronger. The Senate has changed leadership. There are a lot of new faces in Washington, D.C. And I, quite frankly, don't agree with folks on either side of the aisle on everything. But there is something that I truly believe and fervently hope, namely that all of those who have come to Washington have come with a desire truly to be public servants. They've all gotten there because of different skills that they have. Some, like Ronald Reagan, the great communicator, was elected because he made such good contact with people. Others have come because of their intellect. Dollar Bill Bradley, the senator from New Jersey, was a Rhodes Scholar, for heaven's sakes. Others, I think, get elected simply because of dogged determination. I leave that to you to figure out who that is. But I hope that all of those people who are coming there as first-year senators and representatives come with that wide-eyed optimism, believing that they have come there truly to be of service to the public. I truly believe that is why they have all come with their gifts and with that desire. Julie and I have a friend in Jersey who just retired as a congressman from Bergen County. He was elected almost 20 years ago. One of the reasons that he left the House of Representatives was because he realized that what he was doing was every November after an election, he began raising money for an election that was 2 years hence. That he spent so much of his time concentrating on raising money and the compromises that he would have to make in order to get the funding from certain people, that he set aside some of those core values that brought him initially to want to be a public servant. It doesn't take long, I guess, once you're in D.C., to let your self-interest, your desire for self-preservation to take over. I think probably all national politicians suffer from that fate. That if you want to get elected every 2, 4, or 6 years, you have to start thinking immediately about what am I going to raise money from? Who are the people I can get into my camp so that I can be reelected? That desire for self-preservation is rampant in the halls of government. And by the way, with our friend from the gospel lesson today, who just was given the 1 talent by his master. He was concerned about self-preservation as well. The text tells us that he knew his master to be a harsh man. He sowed where he didn't reap and gathered where he hadn't winnowed. Perhaps not the most honest of men, but certainly a hard man. And this one servant decided that the best way for him to preserve his own safety was to dig a hole and bury what he'd been given. For him, CYA did not stand for Catholic Youth Association. It's just what he did. So fearful was he that he just dug a hole and buried what he had been given. It wouldn't have mattered if he had been given the 2 talents or the 5 talents. It just meant he had to dig a bigger hole. The quality and quantity of what he was given did not determine what he did. What determined what he did was his fear, was his desire to protect himself. Because he figured, well, the master, he's a hard man, so if I just give him back what he gave me, everything is going to be cool. You know? Everything will be fine. Everything will be just as it should be. I hope that I'm being obvious enough so that you can figure out where I'm going. Talking about talents and not the quality or the quantity, but what you do with what you've been given. I hope you're following me so far. If so, just kind of nod gently. So, okay. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter the quality or quantity of what we have. What matters is what we do with what we have, with the gifts that we have been given to God. Do we hold on to them so tightly, squeeze every ounce out of them because we're afraid of losing them? Or do we use those talents, those gifts that God has given us for God's glory, that the light of God might be seen just a little more brightly because of what we do? In case I've not been obvious enough yet, let me tell you a story. It's about the Food to Grow On program that got generated out of this congregation 4 years ago now. There are literally dozens of people who make that program go. That program that now runs about a $33,000 a year budget. Dozens of people. There's one person from the Rotary. We have this rotation for people to do the shopping every week. And one of the people from the Rotary who does the shopping on this rotating basis, every once in a while neglects to turn in the receipt. I want you to figure this out. It's 105 bags a week that are packed. And it's between $6 and $7 a bag. And this person forgets to turn in the receipt. I'm not a math whiz, but I can figure that out. That's because that person wants to do that, is able to do that. We pack the bags every week up at Atria, the senior living up on King Street, up by Belfair. And up there are these mostly women. I don't mean they're mostly women. I mean, most of the people who do the packing are women. Wow. That was confusing to me. Who are 80-ish and some more. And please don't tell them that I said that. And woe be it unto you if you try to get Myrtle's place to do the milk and the canned vegetables, because she will throw down with you. There's this assembly line that just shoots out these 105 bags every week with these mostly women at Atria who don't have the stamina or the strength that they probably had 20 or 30 years ago, and who of us does, but they are there because that's what they can do. And they want to do that. They want to give. This year, some of the parents from Edison School started coming up. Edison is the school where we give out the most of the bags, and where every third Thursday we have pasta night for 210 kids. And parents from Edison have started coming up, and they help unload everything to get the assembly line ready. They help pack, and they help tie the bags and deliver the bags. Because that's what they can do. Quality, quantity, it don't matter. What matters is what you do with what you have. It's that simple, and I hope that obvious by now. Each of us God has blessed each of us with talents, with gifts, with gourds. We all have something that we can do with what we have to let the light and mercy of God shine just a little more brightly. So I want to publicly thank all of those dozens of people that make Food to Grow On happen. And I want to thank all of you in this strange little place who come to offer what you can, so that the beacon of God's light shines a little more brightly from this hill. Thanks be to God for gifts that are given, for gifts that are used, not buried in a hole, but riskily, is that a word? Okay. That we riskily use, not for ourselves, but so that kids might be fed, so that others might just a little bit more be wrapped in the warmth of God's care through us. Amen.